Hello and welcome to this magical episode of the Belair podcast. If you've ever heard about or are interested in energy healing, the power of crystals, channelers, the Akashic records, and all things mystical, this episode is for you. Today's guest is an intuitive healer, channel, and sound therapy practitioner based in Los Angeles and New York City. She is the designer of 5D jewelry and the founder of Krystal Paradigm, an intuitive pathway of creative evolution. As a certified crystal healer, Akashic record reader, and Reiki practitioner, Krystal correlates her practices with astrology, psychology, shamanism, herbalism, sacred geometry, meditation, yoga, and more. She has gathered techniques from personal channeling, shamans, priestesses, and gurus from Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America to anchor higher frequencies in creative and sacred spaces to activate and to restore the multidimensional body. She is known for creating mind-opening experiences through her fusion of ancient healing practices and scientific methods of intuitive development programs, workshops, and future technologies to illuminate the wisdom and knowledge of the quantum field of love and expansion. Mm-hmm. Welcome to the show, my friend, Krystal Perkins.
Wow. Hey, Matt. Thanks for that intro there.
Oh, man, it's so good. And I think that you definitely live up to all of that stuff. You're quite the amazing human being. I'm stoked to have you on here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's exciting to share all this information with you and with everyone else here.
Yeah, so just a little backstory for everybody. We met, right, at Lightning in a Bottle, and you were doing workshops there. You were doing your readings. And so you didn't know this, but like for me, I have like, although I'm dressed up like a crazy person right now, and I got like full of shaman, but I have like a super high tolerance for people who come into this space and are full of baloney, you know? So when you're doing like Akashic reading records or things like that, or saying these things, like you want to be at a certain level. So you and I did a reading and it was so good. I really loved it. So, you know, you definitely have a super high level. So I'm just, you know, I'm smart enough to recognize people who are, you know, like at a level. I'm like, holy crap, like, you know, that was pretty impressive. Can you, like, I'm aware of like sound therapy and healing, but do you want to go into like a little bit about your background, like how you got into this, maybe what the Akashic records are? I don't know if that's too much, or like how you became this, like, are you just this way, or, you know, like a background story of how this happens?
All right. So just a little bit about me and how I even started tuning myself to tapping into the Akashic records, which is also known as the infinite realm of consciousness. So just at a young age, I think, you know, even when I was about like 5 years old, I just remember really connecting with crystals, really connecting with energy, really connecting to the space in between spaces. I just remember staring out into the sky and staring out into just the abyss and being able to see more than what meets the eye, than what others felt and saw. So at a very young age, I started having communication with my angels and guides. And in high school, I went through a series of births and deaths with a certain groups of different beings and different people that I was really, really close with. And I really began to recognize my connection with the ethers and those that passed on. So as a curious and heart-centered being, I began exploring these Eastern medicines. And while balancing that with my scientific nature and going to an engineering school, I was really, really drawn into the science of crystals and even the electricities of crystals and how it emits its piezoelectricities, and also crystals were used for ancient healing modalities. I'm actually holding 2 crystals at the moment right here. So as my interest in science and technology and also the healing arts and the philosophy of mind over matter began to enter into my consciousness, I just drove a little bit deeper into shamanism. And through shamanism and practicing shamanism in New York City, I was then guided to be working with other priestesses and gurus and other high vibrational beings that were able to teach me and to show me the ways of which how they connected. So throughout my time, I began to realize that by studying and by getting to know all these techniques, all these ways of life, all these tools, we were all getting to the same place. We're all getting to the same place of tapping into source and tapping into source consciousness and the vibrational nature of that. So from there, I started working with the Akashic records. I received my Reiki certification, and then was drawn and working with a mentor, which is also known as Urban Priestess out here in New York. And from there, diving deep with Akashic records and receiving a certification through Soul's Journeys, I was able to see a little bit more of a structure of how we can facilitate readings for others and tap into the infinite realm of consciousness and help others heal in the multidimensional space. So, yeah.
That sounds good. It's heavy. I totally forgot that you do have an engineering background, which to me, which is hilarious, is awesome. Because for me, I've just been like out to lunch, like like my whole life, right? And I've just been very curious. For me, it was a curiosity of just like what's possible. You know, it's like got to be more than this 3D stuff. Like you know, this like soul thing. Like what am I? You know, like I was always asking this question: what am I? Who am I? What the hell's going on? Like no one else asking this stuff. Like, does anybody know what's going on? So it's nice to have that, you know, and I think that science is coming, right? We're having this, you know, science coming. And at Lightning in a Bottle, I actually had this thought of, you know, our future wear being like little tiny like crystals, you know, in our fabric or something. Like what's it, you know, they hold information, right? And Superman's cave was all crystals. Like what's the, you know, what's going on there?
Right, yeah. So crystals hold a vibrational energy. They are used as tools, as reflections of higher realms and also reflections of our inner earth. I mean, crystals are used as tools with ancient healings and ancient tribes, and even in Egyptian Mesopotamia, they've been used as tools to connect with higher vibrational natures and also for connecting with our bodies. And even from the scientific term, crystals are used in all technologies, quartz especially, because when you hold a piece of quartz, you're holding a piece of quartz, there's a piece of quartz right here. So when you hold this piece of quartz, it's emitting piezoelectricity that's oscillating and finds its match. So therefore, we use these to tell time, and we also use these as conductors within all technology devices. And on the metaphysical end, crystals are also used as tools that work with our subtle energy fields. So our subtle energy field affects our emotional field, which affects our mental field, which affects our physical field. So we're kind of going into those layers of our many bodies that we have. And so what crystals do is really connect with the subtle energies, so the subtle energies around our bodies. So if almost you can envision we're all in we have like an egg around us, which is our auric field. The crystals tap into or work with the subtle energies and then find its resonance match around the body of how to heal that area. Another good example that I like to use is that crystals are like one chakra. So there's so many crystals that you can work with. You know, everyone gets excited about, you know, what properties does this hold or what does this one do? And it gets really fun. But just like human beings, we all come in all different shapes, sizes, and different types of unique properties and characteristics. Crystals do too, and they hold one chakra energy. In a sense, but I just like to use that example. And so when it's submerged into your auric field, it's attracting and finding its resonance within the meridian systems and helping relieve stress so you can begin to radiate and reduce the inflammation that you may have developed through some sort of mind limiting belief.
Awesome. That's a very good outline. So for me, like at Lightning in a Bottle, one of the things that I had was the download for what the heck is it? Essential oils. So I don't exactly know how they work. Same with crystals. I don't exactly know, but this one I got. This is like I carry this sucker around with me. I love it. I also got like, I don't know. Do you know what this one's called? I love it.
That's a labradorite. Yeah.
That's so good. I love the blue on it. It's like the Pleiadian blue to me.
Yeah.
But how would you, so I'm just open to the fact, like, you know, it can't hurt me. I definitely am leaning way over to the side that it's hooking me up in some way that I don't understand. And even just by putting intention through it and all this kind of stuff. But what's like a very simple guide you can give someone? They're like, hey, yeah, crystals are probably cool. Like, how can I use them to hook myself up in the same way where essential oils? I watched, was it essentialoilwizardry.com? Nick. Yes, Nick. It's a really good dude. So he had a huge talk, right? And it was like an hour and a half. And he's like, you know, going ham on how you got to use essential oils. Like, got to use them, you know what I mean? And that's how I feel about meditation and visualization. I spent a long time to be like, dude, if you want something, you got to sit and you got to meditate and then you project it. Like, you got to do it. I know that. So it took him that level of mastery. So I believe him and I start using it. So someone just start using crystals in a simple way to maybe increase what they're doing.
Right. So crystals, the first thing I would recommend is first off, go to a crystal shop and see what you're naturally drawn to. Even sometimes before even reading something, allow the natural drawn attraction, almost like that inner child, to play out. Because when the inner child is playing out, we're playing out with curiosity, we have fresh eyes, and we're allowing ourselves to receive. And so I would recommend going to a crystal shop and finding a crystal that you naturally are drawn to, or that one that you resonate with. And when you use that crystal, a crystal holds information, it holds energy, it holds intention. Just like how we use crystals to hold information in our technologies, we can also use them to hold information with our mind and the intentions that we set. So what they do is that they serve as a reminder. They can serve and be programmed with the intentions that you want to bring forth into your life. So, for example, for you mentioned that you're holding that labradorite crystal, and that labradorite crystal is actually a beautiful one that is very vibrational, but also grounding. And even the color is actually reflecting the cosmos of the universe. If you see it, it almost looks like a Milky Way or something that's over it. And it's also as above, so below energy. There it is. And so, and it helps you connect maybe with the cosmos. So even you saying that is putting that intention, and holding it, that intention is now immersed into your field. And so even holding it, even more the power than just like letting it sit right through you, just because we're of a higher vibrational nature. We're now meeting it with that intention, and now is working with our subconscious and programming it within. So a lot of people like to use crystals for manifestation mechanisms, to bring abundance, to bring love into their life. I do recommend then creating crystal grids. So getting a handful of crystals, see what you're drawn to, see what you're attracted to, and maybe you want to look up the background of what they serve for, and creating a crystal grid. I have a flower of life behind me, but I also use a flower of life grid to put my crystals on. And now that is correlating with the geometry of creation. And now that we have even brought that into our visual perception of creation, and now put these crystals that hold these energy properties, and now meditate and set the intention of bringing back out that manifestation, it will help assist you. They're used as tools to kind of jumpstart that into your reality. And another example I like to use for crystals is like, we all make soup, we're really into herbs. Food is very tangible. It's very, food is healing, food is medicine. So, and it's really tangible for us to take in. And so when we're making a soup, you know, we have our onions, we have our garlic, we have our herbs, we have our, you know, rosemary and thyme and ginger. We make this amazing soup, and then it nourishes us for a certain health factor. Whether we know it or not, it's helping do its job. So when you're making these crystal grid, you can almost think of it as we're making a soup of energy. So if you want to bring love into your life, an abundance of love, and may it be in financial ways, then you'll want to do some rose quartz to bring those love, and aventurine, green aventurine, which is also a stone that works well with the heart, and maybe a little bit of citrine, the merchant stone, around that grid, and a few pieces of quartz. So now that creates an energy pot, a soup that aids to the subtle energies of intentions of where our heart and our mind work on. So
Awesome.
that's how I'd recommend people to use those crystals.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, I'm gonna use the crystal grid is something that I hadn't used before. The way that I kind of equate it, it's like if we went back in time and there's caveman, right? And you drew a square and a circle and a triangle, you know, they wouldn't know what the heck that is yet, but it's information. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, you can do a lot with these three things. So when we're looking at the flower of life, which is sacred geometry, we're processing information, and we're using crystals that hold energy, and then we're just using mental intention, like water and the Masamoto experiments, and you know what we can do with water and things like that. It's all in the same idea. And even if it's just taking the time to put your intention into all that, well then, you know, wherever you put your attention, you put your energy. So even that alone with all this stuff, so it makes sense on the most fundamental level, and it can be fun. And then I think eventually, and even today, we have measurable results from, you know, how we can actually measure this now. We're measuring energy healing, we're measuring crystals, we're measuring all this stuff. So that seems like a really epic plan. Like, I love the crystal grid.
Yeah, the crystal grid is just another tool to assist in kind of jump-starting a lot of your intentions. But then if you think about it, since crystals, quartzes are used in computers to really emit that circulation and the electronic pulsation, and even the physic resonance between that energy pool, we can also think how we're a technology, our human body is a vessel itself, and now can be used and in tune to those crystalline natures as tools to bring forth a brighter reality.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So many ways I want to go with this. I want to get to like 3 here just in my mind now. So
yeah, please go for it.
Well, the one I'd like to talk about, I know you do sound healing. Can you speak about sound healing and how that works, and yeah, what you do, and that's it. Sound healing. Give me a guess.
Yeah, sure. All right. So with sound healing, it's really amazing. Sound healing is becoming quite a popular tool to use now as an assistant to quiet the mind and for us to use as a healing mechanism. Sound healing really goes into the vibrational nature of using sound as a tool to heal. And just like, you know, we heard of the Big Bang Theory, the universe was created with a big sound, right? And so with that being, when you're using different tools for sound healing, for me personally, I use crystal singing bowls and Himalayan bowls. I have tuning forks, and even like the harp, which is really beautiful sounding as well. All these instruments are either tuned to planetary frequencies, or even different frequencies that may resonate with the sound of the Om. So for the sound of the Om, we have the frequency of 432. And so my crystal singing bowls are attuned to 432 hertz. And now when I'm playing that frequency of the crystal bowls, and along with setting the intention of being a complete vessel for the collective, I'm playing the bowls, and now everyone is the thing is with sound healing, you have to be an active participant. But now everyone is actively allowing themselves to let go, release, and open up their cellular body so they can receive the vibrational sounds, so the body can restore and self-engineer itself to self-healing. And you talked about Emoto and water molecules. A fun thing with sound healing is that, and crystal singing bowls, since it's tuned to 432 hertz frequency, the study of somatics, the frequency and vibration of water molecules, when 432 hertz frequency is played, then it actually creates a perfect water mandala. And that's been shown through water and also been shown through sand particles. And so it's really beautiful to see how these frequencies and how sounds can be played and can allow, on a micro basis, molecules to attune to its natural state. Another beautiful vision is even water molecules and snowflakes. So they played at the 432 hertz and have snowflakes be shown as perfect symmetrical snowflakes. And diving into even the geometries of that, and working with these frequencies, we're able to kind of attune the body and really attune the acoustics of the body, since it is a vessel, and use the sounds as a tool to travel to the areas that we need to relieve tension, reduce inflammation, let the nervous system flow with ease, and return to a state of peace and tranquility.
Sounds awesome. I've done more and more sound healing in different ways. So sometimes crystal bowls, amazing. There's a guy named Dr. Dream that goes around, and we saw him at Lightning in a Bottle. He was awesome. He's such a beautiful human being. He just goes around with these bowls, and he's all stoked. He's just like such a good energy, you know. He's like, I'm just playing you some bowls, you know. In Tibet, right, and having the bowls that they have there, with cymatics, you know, and you look as it raises. You know, raises the frequency, and it's kind of all tuned to a chakra or energy center in the body, and it's out of harmony. And then boom, once you get to the next one of 528, 732, 936, I don't know, something like that. Then they form more elaborate patterns, which is like, right. It's so awesome. And again, just like a simple way to equate it as like, just, you know, if it's out there for you, if you listen to nails on a chalkboard, that does not make you feel good. You are like, oh God, you know what I mean? Anything that's terrible sound, you're kind of like, whoa, and you're afraid. But so when you get to like a natural frequency, you relax, you know, and tension and frustration and fear and anxiety create disease in the body. So if you're allowing yourself this space to feel really good, to like just to tune in and to be around other people who are willing to tune in, because we have this problem with tuning out on Facebook and social media and consumption and all that. So even just the time, like you go tribal days, right? You've done shamanism and worked with some amazing healers around the world. I've seen some amazing shamans myself, and they're real. Shamans are very, very real, and they're kicking ass harder than ever because we're so bloody disconnected to everything. You know, a modern day shaman can say, go sit by a tree for like 5 minutes, bro. You're a shaman, because we're like so tuned out. So by getting together with sound and our community in these natural resonances in these natural environments can have a very powerful effect on people.
Right. Yeah. It's really about using sound as a tool to restore the state of harmony, so that we can bring back our state of harmony, and really starting to remove those fear-based ideas and fear-based limiting beliefs that we may have acquired through our conditions, required growing up, acquired through living out these types of realities. And so the sounds are just a tool so that we can begin to fall deeper into ourselves, quiet our mind, but then also just really submerge and bathe in it. A lot of people call them sound baths, or even sound massages. Or sonic sound massage. There's all these fun and amazing words that you can put to it, but it's really just a massage, a vibrational massage. So, and what's cool about sound healing is it's also, non-invasive. So some people don't really like the acupuncture or maybe touch, physical touch. And so this allows you just to really submerge yourself, let go, and allow yourself to be vulnerable and to receive the healing of the sound massages and the vibrations. And the more that you surrender, the more that you receive. And the more that you surrender, the more that you can gain clarity and know that, the more that you're fully supported along the way into your inner wisdom and into your unique being. So
I love that. Yeah, for me, I've been really upping the game in crystal bowls, crystal singing bowls, and sound healing. Like, it's something that I did a little bit before, but it's so easy just to tune out. A lot of people can't meditate or clear their mind, and they're anxious and worried about all these things. You start that singing bowl going, and it's just like, yes, and it's so easy just to sink into this vibration or sound. So it's a very, very powerful tool. They're supposed to do the most epic sound healing at Burning Man this year, but we got dusted out, man. Dusted us out.
I know. I was pretty jazzed for that, but then a dust storm came. So I think in result of that, instead of one massive condensed sound healing, everyone dispersed and there's little mini ones, and we all had to psychically sync up or something. The vibrations found each other through the storm, one way or another.
I know. I was so stoked for that. They had like a bunch of art cars. It was just going to be like, whoa, this is going to be so righteous, man. I was so stoked for that. I was like going through the dust storm, just this thing. I was using this, and I was just like, this is kind of how I used it. I was like, cover my face. It wasn't that effective, to be honest. I kind of got my butt kicked, but man, I was really stoked. So yeah, man, they're powerful.
Yeah, but one thing I want to mention is that what I realized, like kind of a fun visualization of the crystal singing bowls, since we're creating these oscillations and it's very circular movements, and since we're trying to quiet our mind, which is the monkey mind, maybe it's going through a little chaos, we're trying to center. The reason why the crystal singing bowls are so entrancing is because we're making that circular movement. And as our thoughts are protruding out of our head, the circulating sound almost captures it. And it captures the sound vibrationally. So therefore it can, and goes through almost the circling of spheres. And maybe when you even think of the circling of spheres, you can even think of the flower of life, of creation, the circling of spheres, moving around each other. And so when the harmonics of these crystal singing bowls are playing, they create new harmonies and new frequencies and new sounds. And just like how the the flower of life has its circles and repetitional forms and creating new sounds, it can really play into form with sound and geometry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love adding the visual to it. More layers of understanding, Like,
yeah, totally.
Dr. Joe about, because he has a leading science and telling people, he has the balls to stand up and people with cancer and say, you can heal yourself through meditation. Now, Dr. Joe, I believe you, man. And he's seen it happen. I've seen it happen. I've talked to people who've done it, right? They've done it. They told me, and I've met them. But that's messed up, right? It's a messed up thought for a lot of people to say something like that. You know what I mean? So, I always have kudos. Like, the more information you can have about why it works, if we could prove, beyond a shadow of a doubt that it worked, the problem is we don't have the instruments to measure it. So that's where a bit of faith comes in. That's where a bit of intuition comes in. That's a little bit of your own power coming in, trying to think about how powerful you are and what's possible, and lean towards possibility rather than negativity. So I just love how you added just a little bit of another layer of, hey, look, if you can imagine it this way, you can see, how that power and that frequency is working for you. So I loved your addition.
Yeah, definitely. It's fun to add another layer, like you said.
Always. So where I wanted to go with this now, with the reading that you and I did. So when I saw you, I don't know if we'll get into this, touch a crystal and go full bananas and just access Akashic records and do. I heard you could do it, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like, what the F?" I think I had a rating. I don't know if I think I can say F, but I'm not gonna. But that's what I thought, man. I was like, "Oh my god!" So we did a reading, and you said some things that was awesome. I loved personally, my ego loved how you called me like intergalactic sensei mixed with a wizard. I was like, dude, that feels really good to me. Like I really like that mix. So, yeah, I could deal with that. But what I really loved is what you gave me after to kind of look in and look at. So you gave me 3 things, and I would definitely invite anyone listening to contemplate these 3 things. You said, what is my relationship with God? What is my relationship with love? And meditate on one. And I did those 3 things, and they were really, really powerful. So I think the most powerful one is God. Sorry, got a little might happen. Stop. They can even hear it. So I'm just gonna
it's a little bit hard to hear you there.
Is it? You got me? Feedback. Stop.
It's good now, I think, yeah.
Technical difficulties. How's that now?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
So my relationship with God, I found that super interesting because when I did it, I was like, oh yeah, man, me and God are going to be tight, and it's all good. But then when I started to meditate on it, it's funny because I had like just reservations and frustrations in there as well. Like it wasn't all clean. You know what I mean? I was like kind of pissed off or something.
You're cutting in and out. Can you say that one more time, please?
Oh shoot! I can hear myself on feedback. Maybe headphones? Do you have headphones?
I can hear you fine.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Now I can hear you. It's good.
Okay, so I was saying that when I did the meditation, on my relationship with God, I thought it was going to be all well and good, but I ended up having like a bunch of frustration. And I really like it. We talked about this after. Oh shoot. No, we could do. I could stop this and do a part 2, and then just reach. Maybe it'll stop with this back thing.
Yeah, because it sounds like you got bubbles or something.
It's been doing that for a while, and all I can hear is feedback, like myself.
Okay, you can't hear me or you?
I can hear you.
Okay.
So we'll stop this.
Okay.
And I'll send you a Facebook link, and hopefully it'll sort it out.
Okay, that's fine.
To be continued.
Okay, to be continued.